I've been on I've been on mute this whole time.
Okay.
This is a great start of the season. I promise. Thank you, Ollie.
Start.
Thank you, Ollie, for notifying me of that one. So my whole past 5 minutes of talking has been for nothing. Basically, I just said hi, everyone. I'm not sure if he's to Harry or not. I hope you couldn't hear Harry because that would make him
No, they
sound
couldn't. I checked.
really odd.
Well, this is a lovely start to a traditional coach season. It seems to happen quite a lot with me.
Are you able to hear Harry now? If anyone can let me know.
I believe so.
Okay. Lovely.
Well, you can redo the intro if you really want, or we can just move on and pretend there's never.
I'll
we
summarize.
are 5 minutes into qualifying though.
I'll summarize. I can summarize. Basically, it just said it's me and Harry. We're not sure if we're doing this whole season, but hopefully you enjoy us over here. Harry predicted Scott for the championship, which is a shout.
Can I change it?
No, you can't. You've walked it in now. Speaking of free falls, and they come to the final corner. Currently, it is Danjo with a 28.9, the first round 28 on pole. But Scott comes to the line. He goes fastest with a 28.906. He goes straight to the top.
That's why I said championship leader.
That is why you said championship leader. No, yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. You know what? It happens to the best of us. It definitely isn't the first time it's happened to anyone.
Actually,
So
wait, I didn't
it's
ask
fine.
you. Who do you
You didn't
predict
ask
to win
me.
the championship?
Who do I predict? It was Kaelan Barry, who is KXI on PC now, goes fastest. Who do I picked? From what I've seen in social races and pace tests, I've seen a few of these guys, and I reckon Hobbs is a decent shout of doing some decent this season. Maybe that's a bit rogue, and he's probably going to hate me for that. And it's probably going to go very wrong, that prediction, but I don't know. He's been fighting with like Scott and all them, and Scott seems pretty fast. So that's my bold prediction, I suppose.
I'm gonna break it to you now. I think last time I did a pace test with Kaelan, he did spin a few times. So either he's done more practice since I last seen him, considering he's on provisional pole with 11 minutes left on the clock, or he's surprised himself because I don't think I've ever seen Kaelan this high up. No offense, but in previous races and especially pace tests on the start of this game, considering this track is laser scanned and there is, I believe, 5 laser scan tracks.
Somewhere, I think.
Yeah, the track's changed quite a lot, so I am kind of surprised that Kaelan's up at the top right now. My other prediction for the championship, if I could change it, would probably be Danjo. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot to write Danjo down on my notes. But last season he was a good contender. I think he was on the podium. I don't actually know. He was on the podium for nearly every race. There was only 2 races that he wasn't on the podium, I believe, looking at this. But my notes can probably be wrong.
Yes.
I did make them 3 minutes before the race, and I did actually ask Lee as we were starting, is this Bahrain?
Yeah,
Harry
thought
I thought the first round was Austria.
Harry thought it was Austria, so that was a great start. But here we have Adam coming to the final corner up the line in the Alpine. Goes slowest the run so far with 31.1. Just everyone getting their eye in so far. It's Kaelan on top. But no, from Kaelan, I've seen him in pace test stuff, and I don't think he's. Now, I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen him in pace test in a while. I remember him being decently quick. Just he was very how do I say this would be nice? He was prone to an error or two.
Yes. Yeah, a
So,
few errors.
That's the nice way of putting that, I suppose. But hey, we're not here to criticise drivers. We're here to, encourage them. So we're not going to do that. Who's on? Is anyone on the lap right now? I believe Craigo and the Ferrari's on the lap. He just started one. Coming to turn 1. As you said, this track is laser scanned, so it's so much better on this game, in my opinion, anyway.
I do also find it can be slightly more difficult now it's been laser scanned, especially turn 4. It feels a lot tighter. I also find I've got to brake earlier, which could catch a few drivers out if they haven't practiced, which I know Cole Paradox only got home about an hour ago. So there could be a few mess-ups tonight. Not naming names, but considering that some drivers got home within the last 2 hours and haven't had time to practice, for whatever reason it could be. Yeah, I'm expecting a spin or two, just based on the fact that it's round 1 and it's a brand new game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some drivers probably still getting used to the game, but as you said, turn 4 is definitely one of those corners that was becoming much more trickier. I do find I am always either turning into early or too late, and there's no exception. But Craigo, in the final sector, he's currently 5 tenths up, half a second up, which would, if he says this, it would put him up into 7th, I believe. Let's see. Using his ARS, he's out of the deployment though, so that could cost him. Coming into the final corner, he brakes nice and early. And gets a good turn in it, out of the final corner, up the line. Obviously, has no ERS to use, that could. So I'm down up the line. Now he goes into 8th, just behind Cavalis in 7th. I believe Danjo in the Aston Martin's on the lap. One of the picks for a potential championship. Obviously, missed out by 10 points last season, I think it was. So we'll be hoping to come back this season strong. He's a 10th up to the first sector. In the Aston Martin, which, the Aston Martin, me personally, is my favourite car in this game. Although I think every car by the Red Bull looks quite nice. But the Aston Martin is my personal favourite.
I think this might be the first game where I'll actively say I would like any of the cars. Because I know for a fact that since 2021, when I first joined Cone, I had the Alfa Romeo for 4 seasons.
Did you actually?
Yes. I had Little Juan as a teammate in, I think, the Alfa Romeo. I had Rob as a teammate in one of the cars. I had AFL, but I honestly had, I think I had one of the teammates twice, just not obviously not back to back. But the Alfa Romeo, ever since it became like last game, I didn't particularly like Sauber. I think this game, all the liveries are nice. The cars look quite nice as well. Is it a new graphics engine? I believe it is, because they don't have a PS4
I'm
version.
actually not too sure. You could be right on that one.
I do want to question though, Panda. I've not seen Panda for a long time. Now I don't know if he took a break from racing or if he's been here and changed his name, but it's been a long time since I last saw Panda.
No,
Maybe
he
a few
was.
seasons ago.
He was in 1 or 2 of the pace tests, I think. But
Yeah.
you're right. I haven't seen him too often. Free fall, Mr. Scott himself. He's 23 tenths up, which would pull him on original pole at the moment. Coming through the final corner. Does he keep it nice and tight? Does. On the exit, keeps within track limits. This should be Paul from Scott if he kept this delta up to the line, and it isn't. He lost a bit of time in that last sector. Taub currently first with a 28.715, and Forster goes P3 with a 28.7 as well. 3 drivers within just under half a tenth of each other. That's quite close. That is great to see. Anyone else on the lap who we can look at? Cavalis in the Alpine, coming again round and just about to be into the final corner. Cavalis walks up a bit, goes a bit deep. Let's see what he can do up to the line. Will it be an improvement? I think it will be. Let's see where he goes. Stays 9th, improves by just under a tenth, I think that is. So, not bad off from him.
I'd just like to say, at the end of Scott's lap, I did notice that he hit the maximum ERS usage per lap, which slows you down quite a lot, which I've come to realise over the few races I've done on this game.
Yes,
he would have gained pole there, because he probably, I'm going to assume that he lost at least half a tenth. Marginally or not, I think Scott could have got provisional pole with just less than 5 minutes to go now. There's still a few cars out on track on outlaps, surprisingly. Hobbsy being one of them.
Hobbsy is one of them.
It's usually you leave the pit lane at 3-ish minutes, maybe around here about 4 minutes. Cars coming out this early.
Could be.
Every day.
Yeah, true. It could be. I mean, for Taubes and Panda, they don't have a lap set. Probably would just be getting up in for Hobbsy, I'd say. I mean, it could be fueled up for like a bit extra in case Ian Van Lee's calling in or some of them. I'm not too sure, but Hobbsy currently in 13 and Panda and Taubes have yet to set an lap. But only 5 cars on track. Cavalis will be coming to the pits. Sofian just finished the lap. So next, the starting lap will be Hobbsy. So we're going more Hobbsy for this lap in McLaren. He's using his ERS on his out lap. I don't.
Yeah, I was a bit confused.
Coming to the final corner, start the lap.
I think he used it towards the start and then tried to harvest it back. Oh, it's just teleported back.
Oh, it's just gone back to 100.
Well, okay.
Thank you, V8. Usually love to see.
Lovely game.
Here comes obviously out. Into turn 1. There's the apex nicely. Now up the third gear, up the fourth gear on the exit. A bit loose on the ram, but managed to keep within track limits just about. You know, obviously not on the run into turn 4 now. Is he using the CRS? I can't tell if he is or not.
I think Hobbs's car might be glitched because it's definitely going down, but it keeps jumping back.
Okay, it says actually I noticed under the thing it says what ERS mode they're in. It says he's in hot lap. Okay, so he's in hot lap, so that's just glitched. Thank you, game.
I'm quite surprised though. Fastest sector 1 from what my game tells me, but as we figured out with his ERS and his outlap, that could very well be wrong.
Yeah, anything could be wrong.
I guess we'll see when he comes into sector 3 when he crosses the line. But it's looking like a clean lap so far. He's still got quite a lot of his ERS, which I assume he's going to use down the back straight into the final corner.
Yeah, here he comes.
It's looking very clean.
Through the long right hand, and I see him Hobbsy. Is he up? He's up by nearly 4 tenths with a car apparently per millisector. We'll see. I'm not sure about the game there, but let's see coming through the final sector. He has a lot of his ERS left, so he can use that down the straight and then out of the final corner. Let's see. Hobbsy goes a bit deep, almost spins it. Just about manages to save the car. Keeps within track limits. Hobbsy up to the line. What's it going to be for him? It's going to be a 29.5 up into 8th. Definitely timing like lap. So I wonder if he's going to have fuel, and then he's going to save his ERS and go again. If that's it for Hobbsy in qualifying, I believe you're going to have Tobes. Yeah, Tobes up to the line on a lap. What's he going to set? It's going to be a 29.5. He goes up in the 10th, and I think Panda is just behind him. He comes to the pits. Panda is not going to set lap in this qualifying session, so he's going to be last. Who else on lap?
Rafa Marcy. I've never seen his name before, but he had the fast sector 1 again. I'm not sure if that's a game glitch looking the fact that it's happened to 2 drivers now, but he had quite a big snap out of turn 8, I want to say.
Yeah, Rafa Marcy, I've seen him. I think he's I think Rafa is a new driver. I'm not sure if he was here last season, but he's new to me anyway. Here he comes out in the V carb coming round the wrong right hander. It's up to clean that from what I've seen. He is up apparently by actually about 16 seconds, yeah, because his time's slow. That would be around the 130s mark. He's gonna get a distant total from guard, but also maybe a derby yard too. We'll see. Comes the final corner. Also, he keeps it nice and tidy. You get a bit of station up the line for Rafa. What's it going to be? It's going to be up into 5th. A great lap from that V carb to get himself into the top 5.
Yeah, it's quite a good lap. I mean, I'm surprised that he's that high, P5, just over a 10th away from top on pole. Especially considering the slide he had. I'm not sure if it was a graphics glitch where his car lagged or if he did actually spin, but I reckon if he did lose the rear, same as Scott before with ZRS, he would probably have pole.
Yes, that is very true. Cole Parados, and that's the other Red Bull I think who's coming to start now. It's in the Red Bull, it's not another Red Bull, so I'm not sure which car that actually is. Some cars are very hard to tell apart, I find. Who is on a lap? I'll go back and water. Yeah, I'll watch. Okay, 4 stars backed out. Scott is currently a 10th and a half up, which will put him on provisional pole. Let's see if he manages the ZRS better. He seems to have more left, but he's using a bit. He's starting to deplete again. I'm not sure he's going to have enough. He's going to be depleting, but he still has a bit left. In the final corner, he's going to use it all out to the line. For Scott, he actually has saved it this time a bit better. So for free fall, what's it going to be? It's going to be provisional pole, and it is 28.5. He goes up and into first, but Hope behind him was 2 tenths up in the first sector, so he's on a very strong lap. The VCAB looking to take pole position in round 1. He is coming to turn 11 now, hits the apex very nicely, and upshifts early, gets a good exit. Round the long right hander for Taupe to the end of the millisector. He's going to be 2 tenths up, which will be enough for Paul Best to get this final sector right. He almost goes wide, which keeps in track of him just about. And now up to the line for Taupe. So around the final corner first. He keeps it within the track limits. Very nice. He used all the track. Gets a good exit. Surely to the pole now. He has. Always danger up the pole, but can Taupe take it? He can. 28.3. He just about snatches it at the line. Is Kagan on a lap? Kagan is on a lap as well. Let's see what the Mercedes can do. He looked good. Can King on pole position? He might do here, and he does. A 28-1. Great lap from the Mercedes to put him on pole. Kvyat is eliminated, and Wilban is 14th. So that is it. Qualifying King on pole. Out of nowhere towards the end of that session, and yeah, that was very good quality indeed. The Mercedes on pole, Top in second, and Danjo was your top three. I also seen a thing from Panda in the comments saying he has I think like a quality mathematics would have carried over, so that's why he didn't qualify. That makes sense.
Yeah, we were talking about this just before quali started, that there was no drivers in the race director about having quali bans, but it would seem he's realised that he has a quali ban.
So your quality rundown then: Caden on pole, Top in second, Danjo in third, Free Fall fourth, 4-star fifth, Rafa sixth, Fake Tails seventh, Hobbs eighth, Craig ninth, Diddy down in 10th. That's surprising. Hobbs in 11th, Kirby in 12th, Kvyat 13th, Wuban 14th, Co Paradox 15th, Sofian 16th, Mighty Atom 17th, and Panda down in last. Good qualifying there. That midfield was quite close. Kagan on pole by 2 tenths. Well, obviously, two things about this game I'm going to mention now because we're on the race. The tyre wear is much more significant. I don't know, three things. Just tyre wear is much more significant. ERS is very hard to manage. You can manage it quite well, and if you manage it improperly, it could cost you. And then dirty air. I think dirty air is the biggest factor. Because obviously, if you're practicing in time trial or whatever, you probably wouldn't get the dirty air effect. But dirty air effect in the race, as you'll know, Harry, it is massive. So
yeah, it's not great. If you're stuck in dirty air, I reckon the best position you could be in is to box for a two-stop. I think if you're going to go hard medium, it can work. Don't get me wrong, especially with safety cars. But the game's turned more into a two-stop. Well, Monaco, it's enforced. You have to do a two-stop.
yeah.
But most of the tracks, if you're not leading the race and there's no safety cars, it's bound to be a two-stop. Just looking in the chat, Panda wasn't actually meant to race, but he shows his sportsmanship. He's realised about his quality ban, and he's come back and served it.
It wasn't meant to race. Fair enough. I just didn't see that in the comments. Well, he's here and he's made up the number, so we have to thank him for being here. But yeah, I reckon we will see a mix of strategies because some people will be batting tyres and others, some people, if like someone like Diddy, I think down in 10, I know he's on wheels, maybe it's kind of expected for him, but for us, I think it's kind of surprising considering he won the championship last season to be down in 10. So you could see some drivers further back, maybe starting on the higher, trying to go long, or soft, trying to go up early. This game will have a much better mix of strategies than the last game, thank God. I mean, this game is better than the last game in every aspect, to be fair. So here we are. That information, have a look at tyres. So you have everyone on mediums, bar Danjo, Tobes, and Diddy here on soft. No one going for the hard, interesting. I'm quite surprised there.
Yeah, I was expecting, especially towards back, someone to be on hards, and then if a safety car deploys, boosting them up the field and giving them a chance to race, be able to follow the lines of especially the drivers like Scott and Tope. But I guess they're following everyone else's strategy, and if it works, it works. So
yeah, you were very right there. I'm not surprised to see someone like Diddy on the soft. I'm surprised to see Danjo on the soft because Danjo definitely has the pace of the front cars. So, and the soft, although it will get you better launch, it'll be better in the first few laps. The soft from pretty much every track, this track included, will die very, very quickly. So, I have to make work of that early. But also, you could want to maybe do. Obviously, tire allocation actually matters this game, I find. Because if you go hard, you get 2 sets of hards in the race. If you go balance, you get 2 sets of mediums. It's definitely something to make you think before the race start. I wonder if we're going to see anyone try one stop. Because like you said, the one stop, if you want to be technical, it is technically the fastest way to the race, but with tyre wear and all that involved. His toe's been disqualified from the race now. That's not good. His tyres are going to be very cold. It's not a good start. But yeah, obviously with the one stop technically being faster, but really you have to be very good on your tyres and quite fast yourself to make it work, because otherwise them people on fresh tyres are going to eat you up alive. But here we have coming round the back straight, about to go into the final corner. Yeah, it should be a strong race. A few people out of position he probably wouldn't have expected to be where they are, but hopefully we'll see them come to the grid. Kane about to come up to the line. Hopefully everyone manages to get their grid spot about now on. Hopefully nobody missed it, but Hope already there. Either that could be costly for him off the start, having being on cold tires and having Dandros right behind him, who will be on sauce. But you have the Alpine of Atom and Panda in the Ferrari at the back. So I think we're about ready to go. Just the last few cars lining up. Hopefully, I find sometimes we don't get good camera angles. Hopefully, there's a good camera angle for this time, so it will not be fun. Excuse me. Hopefully now can we get a camera angle please, Cam? We really appreciate it. It's not going to give me one yet. Okay, that's fun. There we go. So for season 13, round 1 here in Bahrain, it's 5 red lights. For a long time they were held lights down and away we go. It's Caleb a good start off the line. Danjo will not a good start on the soft tyres. But here we go down to turn 1. Taupe to 3 wide, then 4 wide into turn 1. Kane leads from Taupe and free fall. Then the Haas down the inside. There's a spinner at the back. That is a McLaren, a Hobbsy, I think, and Wilban being given 10-second time penalty. But at the front, it's Kane leads by nearly a second. Then free fall on Taupe. All the Haas almost goes in the back. Force almost everyone's in the back of the V carb. Danjo down. Who spun? Kagan spun. Oh no, we were just speaking about it before. In and off the line, but he spun. He's straight back down the 70s. It means free fall is your current leader, ahead of Tomp, Danjo, Face Gouser, and Craigo. I didn't see that incident at the back carry. Did you manage to catch that?
I saw the turn 1 incident between Ruben and Hobbsy. It looked like he just locked his brakes, went deep, and unfortunately rear-ended in the contact of the game. Weirdly spinning Hobbsy out, it did look like he went under the car, but, well, I don't think it would have spun in real life. But that's the game for you. He did get wing damage and an instant 10-second penalty.
Oh, I think I've seen a wing fly off? Yeah. 4 stars. I think a bit of 4 stars when he's gone. I saw something. I don't know what that was. Was it 4 stars? It might have been. He almost goes wide there. Now it would be under pressure from Tobes. Tobes, who started. Actually, let's have a look. Positions gained. The most positions gained is by Mighty Yatum, who gained 7 positions on that one, up into 10th. And the biggest loser, of course, Kaelin down in 17th from pole positions. Here we go into turn 1 again. Anyone making any moves? Everyone staying pretty single file into turn 1. Up at the front, though, Pope will have DRS on free fall, and he's using his DRS. He's using that battery. He's going to go for the turn 4. He thinks better over for now. They stay pretty single file going to turn 4. No one making a move as of yet further than the back. You do have clear PR going on the inside of Panda, and he makes the move, and the Sauber is up into 14th place. But yeah, Danjo's got soft the line there on them soft tires. I did see that, which was quite surprising. But he's managed to stay where he is, and if helping make some ground early, because those soft tires will very quickly become the inferior tire.
I'm confused about these possible race strategies, the soft, medium, hard. That doesn't seem right, especially considering that most tracks are usually soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft if there is a safety car. Yeah, Four-star doesn't have any damage, so I'm not sure whose wing who came off. But I can tell you, Ruben with the front right end plate that's missing off the turn 1 contact hasn't boxed. So I'm going to assume that he's staying out until a possible VSC.
He does also have that 10-second penalty for hitting Hobbsy, but here comes Taupe on the main straight. Should be an easy overtake with DRS and overtake enabled. He gets past 3 fall, but I think Daniel's going to go for the move too. Yep, he's using a go for it. The Aston Martin also up now into second. He gets the move. Scott choosing another fight. I think that's smart from Scott. You don't want to get into any early scuffles, especially with how close you have the top 10 all within 1 second, and you have Sofian who's just outside that top 10. And actually, everyone pretty much all together, which is great to see right now. For that, Maki Cavalis making a move on the Mercedes up into P11, the Alpine going around the outside before the corner there. But Dandra up in a second, free fall, back down to the third. Taupe now, he's almost second carry, he's nearly 8/10 carry. He might just about get rid of the. No, Danjo manages to stay in just about, but Danjo will have to. I reckon we'll see Danjo pit relatively soon, because them soft tires will not be nice. what you were saying about the strategy, I do find this game soft tires are usually quite bad. So I do usually see a lot of medium, hard, medium, or something along those lines, depending on what allocation you choose for quality. But I'm curious to see what the soft ones are going to do. I presume it'd be medium, medium, but even then the mediums around here, from what I've done, and I have done an English too around here, the mediums around here they are bad. They wear very quickly for a medium tire. So I'll wait and see what happens. Any battles? We do have a battle between the closest moment is Craigo. Craigo from the back with face Scouser. The Ferrari going for the move on the McLaren. He's using the ZRS. He is depleting slightly, so I'm not sure he's going to have the gains to go for the move. No, he won't. But further down back, you've Rafa going past Diddy, and the Mighty Atom as well gets past Diddy into turn one. The Alpine going for on the inside of the on the V carb. Sorry, just makes the move. Does the V carb and now up into 8th. Mighty Atom continues a good start. Up to 9th, but here comes Diddy again. He backs out of the move, thinks better of it. I think we're starting to see the soft tires slowly with their way for the Sauber. He's going to go for it though. Into the sector, he just stays behind. There's yellow flag. That is called Paradox. He is round at turn 4. I'm not sure if that was contact. I think he was battling another car. I'm not too sure who it was, but he's round and down into last at the moment. You've Kerpier and you've Sofian battling. Kerpier, I think, made a mistake because he was ghosted for a bit there. Back up to the front though. The gap just about 4 tenths between Taupe and Danjo. Danjo hanging on well at the moment. There's another spinner. That is Kerper. He's spun round. I think he had Tank Sniper coming out with 8, and then obviously his tyres must have lit himself up a bit, and then that continued into 9 and 10. But he's down to 16th, but up at the front. Everyone's pretty close. The top three have almost dropped McLaren a face closer, but I think he just about gets the DRS. He does get the DRS just about. But we're starting to space out a bit. Now only top 7 within that 1 second window, and Rafa are 22 seconds back. But on the main straight, Danjo's using his DRS. He's stopped the point though, but so has Taupe. Here comes Danjo to the inside. He thinks better of it, backs out of that move there into turn 1, and will just try and stay behind the V-car. But Tank Saber from Taupe. Will Danjo go for it? No, I think he's going to leave that move for now. I think there's a battle further back between Cavalis and that one. The two Alpines, they look pretty close, and with no DRS at the moment. He isn't going to go for moving his team, and he is just about. And Atom seems to let Cavalis through there. That's good teamwork from those two. Diddy, though, trying to make a move on the Alpines as well, but seems to have backed out on that one. Yeah, we're kind of settling into a rhythm here. There's a bit of a DRS train now between 1st and 7th, and there's a bit of a gap after that. So I think we're starting to set into a sort of rhythm. Danjo will be trying to make the tire go as long as possible, and obviously it is good the fact he is quite confident in the DRS spot, so as well as that, he's getting a dirty air from that V-carb, which will not be good for them tires at all.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some gaps open in the field. Obviously, you've got the one behind Topes, just holding on to the DRS 4-star. Then you've got the lone RB 2 seconds behind. Then you've got an Alpine, which is another 2.5 seconds behind Rafa. And then there's a train there. So you can see a pattern. There's two things I am curious about. Sofian's already got a 3-second time penalty for extending track limits. And we're only 6 laps in, which is a bit of a concern. I also noticed that Kalen has boxed for hards. He did spin, but I wouldn't expect him to box this early, especially. I don't think he had damage, it was just a tyre change.
I think he could be doing, potentially going hard and going back onto a new set of mediums, because obviously, I mean, he might as well roll the dice with something, as Adam got the penalty as well, but he was towards the back, so he might as well roll the dice with something there. But I mean, in fairness, that's gone very early for the medium tyres now. Obviously, maybe he wore a bit more with that spin. But that's true, he has gone very early, but we'll see. Because he could do hard as well if he's gone for the hard allocation tyres.
He could.
But here comes Danjo just about staying within DRS range of. So soft tyres are hanging on well for now. Danjo is not falling out of DRS range. He's hanging on to it for now, which will be crucial for him because he can. Being on the soft tyres, he does have freedom to pretty much any strategy he wants. Whereas medium runners do have to either run a soft or a hard. The soft runners probably won't want to see them tyres ever again. they're free to do what they want, really, with the strategy. As I think Fake Scherzer just about dropped out of DRS, and he seems to have just about kept it for now. But that's going to goes, and Craig always dropped out of DRS to Fake Scherzer. 4-star was ahead of Tolbs a minute ago. I'm not sure what happened there. I missed that. I'm not too sure if there was a mistake from the 4-star on that, but he seems to be coming back at the Red Bull. So watch this now. On the run down into turn 1, he's using his ERS. He has more ERS than the Red Bull. He's going to make that move pretty easily now on the car, on the Red Bull, to go back ahead of him. Tolb's trying to fight that one a bit, but he thinks better of it and lives to find another day. Yeah, Face Scherzer on the back of free fall. He's going to go for a move in turn 14. He's a bit too far back. He is just a bit too far back. 7 laps in, and this race starting to take a bit of shape, I think, as I see Ruban and Kirby. There's actually Chris and Sophie are battling down for 12. There he has. He's into the wall.
It would seem he can't find reverse.
He couldn't find reverse there. He's found it now though, and he's still going, thankfully. But that would, I think, swing damage. I actually can't check the camera. It won't let me check it.
Yeah,
So,
I've noticed that when there's yellow flags, you can't go into broadcast view.
Yeah, you
which
can't.
I'm not sure why, because it's a bit.
Let me see. I'm checking now.
Backwards.
It probably
He's lost
looks
his front
fine.
left end plate.
Yeah. He has lost front left, so that's a bit of damage for him. Probably have to pit the end of the slap. But see, the top 4 broke away from 5th now. So that's what. So I think. And it seems like Face Scherzer just about holding on to free fall, but he's holding on, and certainly. I mean, okay, Danjo on 27%, free fall on 13%. Face Scherzer on 22%, but then you've told who is leading, but it's conserving his ERS the most. He's on 50%, so he's much more energy than the other guys, which if he has to defend from behind, that will pay dividends to him. So I think if I'm the other guys, I would just try and stick behind and try and save the ERS, because you can definitely, if you're in a train and you're fast enough, you can definitely do that. As Rafa goes for the move on the sister Red Bull car into turn 1 and gets that move about past Hobbs up into 7th. Rafa just about has DRS to the car ahead of him. As there's people in the pits, Diddy's in the pits, Sophie in the pits, Chris in the pits, and Hobbs going into the pits. So they're onto the hard tyres, bar Sophie, who's onto the medium tyres. So they're making their first pit stops.
I'm just trying to work out, because the soft runners are one of the soft runners did box the likes of Diddy. Was it Diddy?
It was.
I
Diddy,
saw one
yes,
of the
it
soft
was.
drivers box. Klerper gets 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane, which is going
that's
to
not good
even
for him.
more ruin his race. But yeah, there was one of the soft drivers boxed, and then there was a few medium drivers that followed in. I'm not sure if they're struggling with tyre wear, or if that's because they've made a misunderstanding knowing who's on what tyre. It's a bit backwards, because I thought the mediums would have gone longer than the softs by quite a margin. If there is a driver to watch out for in this race, though, I probably should have mentioned at the start, it is probably Danjo. The last time we raced at Bahrain, he did finish P3, Cravales on pole, and got the fastest lap. So I guess there's 2 drivers you could watch out. Danjo in one of the better positions as he comes into the box, hoping he doesn't get a penalty.
He did just lose DRS to Tolbs. I think it was a cue for him to come into the pits. Let's see what tyre he goes on to in the Aston Martin. I presume it'd be the mediums. I think I'm presuming it's going to be medium tyres. It's a hards. Okay.
Interesting.
That's interesting, because he maybe. I think. Why would he? He could be doing hard soft, which would be a different strategy. I mean, he took the soft 9 laps. Obviously, on lower fuel, then it would be more possible than last. But that's quite interesting. Comes out in 11th, just behind Cole Paradox and his teammate Wilban. Which now gives Tolp a 2-second advantage out front. Cole Paradox with a 3-second time penalty. But Tolp now 2 seconds ahead of free fall. Excuse me. Fake shares on the back of the Williams, who have both managed the Williams and the McLaren both managed their ERS a bit more now. They seem to have a bit more in the tank. But I reckon we're getting towards that pit stop territory. If we're going to go for a 2-stop, the medium runners, I presume we're going to be doing that at some point soon. And for the back, you have Hobbsy and Chris has spun round out of turn 4. We've seen a lot of spinners at turn 4. And this will be pointed out in qualifying, like corner is very tricky on traction and also to get your braking point right. And as you mentioned it, a few drivers definitely being caught out there. But here we go, around the final corner for Taupe. We're going to watch Face Gauss and Free Fall. These two seem pretty close and could come into battle on the back straight. Let's see, the McLaren as free fall is coming into the pits. That's yeah, I'm not surprised at that. And Craig comes into the pits, and so does 4 star. So 17 pit stops for the front guys. 4 star speed, he has 10 seconds. That's not going to be good for his race at
That
all.
is unfortunate.
I'm curious what tires he's going to. Craig on the softs. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Free
Scott's
fall
gone
on
on
the
to medium, the
hards.
hard, sorry.
4 star on the hards. Rafa on the hards.
I've just done a check on the chat, and Wee Rabby said that 8 laps is probably about right for the mediums, which is where we are. Which that's kind of surprised me about the soft drivers, about the soft runners, boxing on the same lap as some of them onto lap 8. It's I'm gonna make a wild guess that it was tyre wear for both of the cars. I do know that playing F1 on a pad, well specifically F125 on a pad or controller, the tyre wear is a lot worse
I
than
can speak from experience. Yes, it is.
it's a lot worse than wheel. I've got a prime example in Miami for one of the pre-season events we did, not pace test, just to when the first game, when we first got the game, when it came out. There we go. Took a minute. I know Sweet Crown Vauto was struggling a little bit with the tyre wear, but a few of the drivers on wheels managed to survive perfectly. Obviously with a bit of issue, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's the tyre wear is a lot more difficult to manage on controller on this game, I find.
Yeah, as you're right there, definitely, from what I can tell, is Tope into the pits. And Ruban seems to be doing a good job for his teammate. He seems to be holding up free falling the cars behind, which will create a gap for his teammate. I presume Ruban will be in soon, but we'll see what tires will Tope go on to. And will Danger manage to jump him? It will be good. The gap is roughly around 24 seconds. Tope onto the hards. That's not surprising at all. I expected. But Danger coming round the front corner onto the back straight. Is he going to jump the big cab? It's going to be very tight on pit exit.
It's going to be very close.
It's going to be very close. Tope just coming out now. I think he just about has it. That's great from Tope to get the overcut, which is very rare in this game. But here comes the 3 wide out of the pit. Big scouts for free fall. And the Ferrari. Craig, oh, it's just about to get through. And free fall goes through on the McLaren just about. Craig, fake scouts, ball off the rest. And fake scouts go straight past. And McLaren will go straight past too. Down the inside on the soft tyres. Should have better traction on the extra. Free fall hangs around the outside, but it's still side by side going into turn 5. Craig backs out smartly there. Good awareness from the Ferrari to back out there and not risk a collision. But that was close, 3 wide in the final corner. But Tope has made the overcut work, which is very rare in this game.
I mean,
it's very rare. You don't see that.
He's made the overcut work, and even more crucially, which I find quite. I'm going to give them a fair well done. 3 cars into turn 1 doesn't go too well, as Martin Brundle would say. But all 3 cars damageless coming out of the corner, single file. As Kalen
has spawned, and that
safety car is out.
Safety car.
That's saved Ruben.
Where has he done that? He's done that. That's very far down the straight. If you watch Cold Paradox, you watch Panda.
He's span. I just saw his tyre. He's hit the marshal post wall on the left, and then it must have spun his car and rolled.
That's very fair. That's safety car. That's probably just for Ruban, it's very good, but for someone like who would that? It doesn't really benefit or disadvantage anyone. I'd say.
4 stars coming in. Okay. So
he does have a 10-second.
Ruben's coming in.
So I'll probably serve them. I presume Ruben might go. I think Ruben could try to go hard to the end. Yeah.
There's a few drivers coming in, to be fair, on 3-lap-old tyres. Hobbsy not being one of them. Tobe's on 3-lap-old hards. Cavala's on 2-lap-old mediums coming in already. That is not concerning, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't seem right, I'll be honest. Yeah, this is saved Clerper's race, I think. Staying out, not boxing. I assume he's going to box now. Cause I believe he had another spin, but didn't box. So his tyres might be on fire if they're if he did have that other spin. So this is a perfect opportunity to box. A few drivers with wing damage as well. I know Wooten being one of them, and the 10-second time penalty for the collision at turn 1. He served that, so that won't be getting removed at the end of the race by the stewards. But yeah, a few drivers have been saved with that safety car. Fixed the damage, new tyres. As Clever does come in, as I suspected.
Yep, you're right there. It makes it interesting then, because people put it on the hards. That's Hobbs, Kavalis, Sofian, 4-star. They are the did get the mediums, which is quite surprising because unless he only had one set of hards for the race, which could be possible if we went mediums, but the guys on the hards, Ruban included in that, and they could all go off the end. Whereas the guy, I mean, someone like Tope with the safety car could make it to the end, be a bit more tight now, but the safety car could bring the one stop into play here. Definitely. Um,
Slightly confused by Craigo on the softs not choosing to box because they can only go maximum 8 laps based on what we've seen this race. So to stay out on already 2 lap old softs, he can only get, I'm gonna say 5 more laps out because the safety car reduced the tyre wear.
yeah.
Before he has to box again, so he's either going to box as the safety car comes across the pit lane, which he
No.
doesn't. I thought he was going to then, but he managed to trickles. But yeah, that's quite interesting that he stayed out. I'm not sure if he's got a tyre allocation problem, or if he's chosen the wrong tyre
He
allocation.
started on me unless he went softer, which I'm not sure if no. I think
No, he
soft
started
gives you
medium.
a set of hards. But a medium, I didn't want to wish tyre allocation. You still get a fresh set of hards. He started on medium, so he does have a set of hards available to him. Maybe he just doesn't think the hards thing all at once. Maybe he doesn't want to pit just for the sake of pitting. Or maybe he's hoping for the safety car. I'm not too sure there, but
He would have saved time if he'd boxed when the safety car first came out. Would have come out. Oh, 4 stars left.
hopefully
Interesting. I don't know. I'll invite him in a second.
yeah.
But a lot of the drivers go medium hard, of course. Danjo up in P2 on the soft and hard, so now he's on the same tyre wear lap boxing as the other drivers, which has put him on a fair advantage. Craigo on the medium soft, which is questionable. Tobes, Krollis, Sofian, 4-star, and Diddy have all boxed twice already. And then there's Wooben with the medium hard, and Atom, Chris VK Panda, and Klerper who have done the 2-stop. If there is another safety car towards the end, probably from like 20 onwards, I'm going to assume drivers are going to box again. Because safety car restarts on old hards are not fun from experience.
Yeah, they're not. I do see a lot of drivers leaving around now. Obviously, leaving around it does one tires up, but also I find it does wear the tires a good bit. You have to try and like. I personally find that just sacrificing cold tires for a bit of the restart is better than wearing your tires out a bit. But they're even hopefully it means I have warmer tires for the restart. We should be in, I say, next up because you do have Panda and Kerber down towards the back who have not yet caught up. I'd say you'll be in next lap, which would give us 15 laps of racing to the end, provided there's no other safety cars or anything like that. But yeah, I reckon everyone could be out to the end now, unless another safety car comes or unless they're quite bad in their tyres. Um, so I reckon we're going to see a straight fight now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think who's on control and who is on wheel, because like you said before, the safety car does. It depends how aggressively you warm them up, but
Yeah.
it does quite a lot of tyre wear, especially if you're doing some people call it brake magic, turning the brake bias up if that still works. But I've noticed that doesn't work as much on this game, so you have to weave, which absolutely ruins the tyres.
Yeah.
Which is realistic. It makes sense that EA have done that. But there's no, from what I've seen online, no actual way to warm your tyres apart from just weaving, which, especially for drivers like Danjo up top, and especially Craigo on the softs. Softs are easy to warm up, but they're 4 laps old, and if he starts warming them up under safety car, they're gonna explode quite early. Danjo on the hards are quite difficult to get up, but once you've heated them up, you'll notice when you start racing the tyre wear is quite high, and they do drop in temperature quite quickly as well. So it's a last sector type thing you've got to do to save tyre wear and keep tyre temperature before the start.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Danjo obviously had it on very well with those soft tires. So I think his tire wear, if he went on that on the soft and they survived, it should be pretty decent. So even though his hard tires are the oldest we have at the moment, no, Hobbsies are a lot older, but like it's the second oldest. I do reckon he could be at the end. Obviously, he was keeping up with Taupe on what you would consider soft tires towards the end of that stint. So we'll see if he can do it roughly the same tires. Sedka is in this lap. So Taupe will have to try and manage the restart. I wonder if he'll go early or going late. Because if you go early, you obviously have the final corner, you can try and catch people out. But there's also a risk you get slipstream. Whereas if you're going late, it minimises the risk of being caught out. And we'll see. Everyone is caught up, so that's good to see. We still have 17 cars left. Kagan, the only driver out of the race so far, and he's obviously, the reason we have this safety car. Let's see what Tope does, the V car. So now he's gone very early. I'm hoping it doesn't slow him down, because I've seen that happen sometimes. He should be okay, just about. Oh, and he's almost had a massive spin at the front corner. And that's going to allow Danjo to be on the back from the turn one. He's using the ERS, and Danjo was not using. He's calling this. That's what he's not using. Danjo did not use into the first corner. That's quite surprising. So it's currently Tope leads in the turn one, as they are further down the back. Any real battles you do side by side between 4-star and Sofian, but very clean. Very clean. As Cole Paris and Hobbs, they're battling down into turn four. And Cole Paris is passed. Further back, you've moved between 4-star and Sofian. But as I was saying, they've all kept pretty single file and very clean through that restart.
I'm not sure if anything happened with Diddy on the start, but it seemed coming into turn one that he was already just under 2 seconds down on 4-star at the time, and since then he's been overtaken by Sofian. But there's again gaps starting to form, as there was in the first part of the race. You've got a gap between Col Paradox just dropping out the DRS, which will open up again, I believe, next lap. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it will be.
And you've got that pack into P13 with Diddy just hanging on. And then you've got Wubin kind of on his own, and then 3 drivers all together to finish off the 17 cars still left in the race.
I must say, I was quite surprised when I saw it. I mean, that's what I only surprised is we're seeing that Tope made the mistake, and Banjo he was still a medium. Obviously, that maybe someone's going to settle into a period of saving his tyres and trying to just conserve for a bit and then attack later on, which could be possible. Would be smart. But you think with a dirty air behind the recar would be kind of difficult. But anyway, further back we've Craigo gaining on the Williams of free fall. The turn one, he's going to go for a move. He's on the soft tyres, so he would be in the pits soon enough. He stays behind for now. There's a... Okay, there isn't the yellow flag. It just says it's yellow flag because of this game, right? But Craigo, on the exit of turn 3, he has the DRS. He's in overtake. He's gaining on the Williams. He's going to go to the inside. Free fall doesn't defend it on. He's going to run outside the Williams, trying to hold it. But Craigo manages to get past. Good move. Keen race in the pair of them. And Craigo up into 4th now. That's very good from him. Further back, any real moves you Chris and Mighty Atom battling. Everyone pretty single file on into turn 8 for the further back cars. No, nothing really happened. Everyone trying to settle anything again into a rhythm.
I am. So go on.
I forgot what I was going to say now. You go ahead.
I'm quite surprised by Craigo. 6 lap old soft. It's about now that he's about to die, and he's still hanging on the DRS. I know we're only 2 laps into the race, off the end battle of the safety car, but they're holding on strong by the looks of it, and he's still got quite a lot of his battery to go, which is going to help him quite a lot. There's 2.5 second gap between Col Paradox and the RB now. The gap's definitely starting to form, which I guess the only fix for that is another safety car. I'm not asking for one, don't get me wrong, because they are quite a pain. But yeah, the gap's starting to form again, and I guess it's starting to show who the contenders are for the championship. I know it's only round 1, it's a bold thing to say, but
It is.
up top you got likes of Tope, used to be in tier 1 I believe. Danjo, which was, I think he finished P2 or P3 in the championship last season. Like I said before, he finished on the podium I think 5 times, 6 times last season, which is up there, I'm going to say, in the podium records for Kona. I'm going to make a wild assumption of.
Yeah, it definitely will be up there, I presume. But battles further down between 4-star and Cavallo's 4-star, making a move up in the 10th. Yeah, so it's amazing, but I did see out of the final corner that last lap, Danjo did almost lose the car. He did want to save it. But again, Frank Clares not choosing to not use his ERS and trying to stay behind his 4-star and going around the outside of Tobes into turn 9 and he backs out smart from 4-star. You don't want to try and risk the move. He's been hit in the back, and Cavallis has sustained some wind damage. I did see a bit of carbon fibre fly off that Alpine.
I'm not quite sure. Can you just check? Does Rafa actually have a wing for you?
Rafa,
No,
for me, he doesn't
went
have wings.
off.
Something's happened with Rafa.
He went off at the left-hander before turn 9 because he got a penalty for it. He would have been his 3rd final warning. He's gone off again. I'm not sure if wing would have come off because I don't believe he was with anyone unless he hit the rear of
He was
free
behind
fall.
free fall. He could have hit the rear. That would have made that's something that makes real sense. Rafa with no wing, he'd be into the pits at the end of the slap. and he was looking good in P6, and I'm not sure if it's debut or not. I'm gonna be bold and say this is debut in Colin. I'm not too sure, but
I
he's
feel
into
like
the
I've seen his
bits.
name once though. I recognise him. I don't know if it's from Kona or from another league, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely recognise his name. He's had a good first race up until
Oh,
now.
race gets with a 3 second, and he's in the battle for the lead. That could prove crucial. 12 laps to go if you include this one, and currently in the top five. Free fall just falling out of DRS, but he's roughly trying to fight in. Hopefully, he can keep in that battle for his sake. He's still there just about. So, let's see. Any battles further back? You forced are going for it on Tobes again. I'm sorry, it's called Paradox on Red Bull. Into turn 7. Sorry, turn 6 and turn 7. He just stays behind for now. Force are going to go to the outside this time. The Mercedes on the inside. There's a lot of battles on here, but a Force with a switchback and Cole He gets the move very nice from the Haas. Up in the 9th. Further back, though, you have the Ferrari, Chris Pannon going around the outside of Diddy. Hold back for now. Go battle between these guys. Further down the pack, but up front, pretty similar to the rest levels. Craig the only one that did the only outlier here on 27%. Everyone else was around that 50-60 kind of mark. We'll see if
I
Daniel
think
goes to
Hobbs
remove
is
this
saved
up.
his race here. Just looking at him, he was stuck in the train behind Cole Paradox, which was about 2.5 seconds. And I know the gap has dropped down to 5, but that was when they were overtaking him. So I think he's managed to free himself, and you can see on the 1.7 gap that he's made between Tobes and himself. He's pulling away from the cars behind, but not quick enough to catch back up. So he's kind of put himself into a race of his own, shall we put it?
That's very true. Um, the McLaren and the Aston Martin almost getting close to the turn 1. Their faces are trying to go for a move. He used to be a DRS to try and get past the Aston Martin, but ends up thinking better of it. Further behind, though, Craig on free fall have fallen out of that DRS window. It seems those soft tyres are finally starting to fade. And in fairness, 9 laps on them. I know it was safety car, so I mean 9 laps is very good for those tyres, but they seem to be dropping back now. So that could prove crucial for free falls race. If he wants to win this race, he'd have to try and get past it right quickly and then try and get back into the DRS of the cars ahead. Um, Again, we kind of split up, but you have the top 5 they're close together. And then you have a bit of a gap, then you have the middle pack from Force, from Tolbs downwards where it goes. So here comes free fall into turn 9. He goes on the inside of the Ferrari, trying to be a bit quicker now and trying to catch back up. Switch back from the Ferrari. He's going to go to the outside. He thinks about it, but them tyres do not have the grip for that. I don't believe. I know he backs out of that for now. But good battle there.
Well, I've just seen one of the greatest overtakes of this race. I've just seen the mighty Atom 76 around the outside of Woven at turn 9. Down the inside and the switchback coming into turn 9 around the outside, kept it clean, no collision, and yeah, that was interesting. As Craigo comes in the pits, 9 laps on them softs, he's done quite well to keep them alive, make it 10. He has done a very good job of keeping them tyres in the window to be in the top 5.
Yes, he did indeed 4-star on Tobes into turn 1. 4-star on the charts to the field at the moment. And he gets to move up in the 6th. His next target will be Hobbsy up in 5th. Yeah, Craig will be hoping for the safety car because he had very good pace, no soft tyres, but obviously just the safety car kind of caught him out and messed up his strategy. But 4-star up into 6th. I remember, he started 5th, didn't James? Remember.
4-star started P5.
He did, and he was a bit down towards the back. Actually, no, he pitted. That's what it was. So he pitted on the safety car and had to make his way back too. But he's done pretty well, and almost. I think he's ahead of everyone who pitted on the safety car. Actually, no, I think Hobbsy pitted as well. Hobbsy on the oldest tyres at the moment, with 12 at both hards, which should be okay at the end with that safety car. I'm not too sure though. But yeah, 4-star running a good race, and he's catching the McLaren pretty rapidly here and could pretty soon be up into 5th place as onto the main straight for the front guys. And nothing really happening at the moment. It was kind of Dan just kind of biding his time, saving his ERS, and not really using much. Free fall almost back in the DRS the guards there, but he's going to lose all that time on the main straight anyway. But further behind, 4-star got past Hobbsy into final corner. That might not have been the smartest decision because Hobbsy does have DRS and should get the half straight back into and down the main straight into turn one he goes and hops straight back forward. I don't think Forsyth should have went for that move the front corner. He should have waited until he got DRS. I was going to go for it again. He was right on the McLaren's rear end through turn three and out of turn three now. He has DRS. He's not even his DRS Forsyth. I used to sit behind now. He does sit behind for now. These are batting pretty hard. The front guys just kind of stay, just pace themselves now for what we're hoping will be a great finish. Forster goes a bit deep into turn 6 and turn 7, but keeps within track limits for now. Good battle in the midfield, so that's good to see. It has been a pretty decent race. And obviously, we had the safety car, had Kane crashing there, but there has been battles pretty much all the time. And it hasn't been a great deal. Like, what I'm trying to say, it hasn't been like an overall overtake. I've seen cars trying to be patient, but that doesn't mean the drivers have good racecraft, and that's what we want to see. But
yeah, we're 21 laps in. We've had one safety car, quite a good number of overtakes. I'm not sure if the rule is still top 12 get points.
I believe
but if it is, Chris Panda has done an absolutely amazing job. He's not raced in 10 months. He's come back to Cone in F125, and he's now in P11, starting from the back with his qualifying ban, which Cone completely forgot about, and he's remembered it himself. He's come back, served it, and now he's P11, fighting in a train up to P9.
Yeah.
I'm not. What tyres has Craig gone on to?
Craig goes on to mediums, but he is pretty far back. But he'll be much faster than the guys ahead. So I do reckon there's potentially points still on for him up to P. Actually, I mean, he isn't that far back. 7 seconds behind Wheelman on much fresher tyres, and tyres that definitely will make it to the end without any problems. So there is a potential for points there for him, definitely.
Yeah, I think the last lap that a safety car can possibly come out is lap 25, 26. Yeah, it'll be 26, and he can come in at the end of 26.
Yeah.
So, and 25 is the last lap. You can cause a safety car. So the last 7 laps could be very, very interesting. Safety car are not the top 3, very close. Free fall, unfortunately, just dropping out for the podium battle, and then there's a lovely battle from P5 4-star down to called Paradox, and then you've got the train between Sophie and Diddy, Panda and Cavalis, which, like you said before, Lee, it's been a very good race, and there's not been any dead spots, I guess you could say, for overtaking all battles.
Definitely has. We definitely have had our fair share of battles race. Free fall, obviously, at the moment, we'll still get P3 because the fixture's pending, but at the moment, as Danjo pits, Danjo is pitting. He's not doing the 1-stop, he's doing a 2-stop. Them hard tires must have won a quick.
Is that indicating that the hard tyre wear is quite bad? Because I'm going to assume it's about 3%, 4%. No, 3% a lap on tyre wear.
Must be. Something like that, I presume.
50-ish%. Which, if it is 50%, and I am right in my amazing calculations, then the top 3 could, especially Fake Scouser, the Fake Scouser in the dirty air behind Taupe, his tyre wear is going to be outrageous.
Yeah, and for those guys, for Daniels, you're hoping made the right call there because he's down in 14th and he should get back into the points relatively quickly, but he was definitely in the hunt for the win now, and we'll see where that holds true. And it could be a reason why someone like Free Fall is dropping back. Maybe Free Fall trying to save his tyres and go for that 1-stop, because if he gets that 1-stop off, and if someone can make that work, they're going to gain a lot of positions. But I was surprised he pitted, but now that I thought about it, I'm not too surprised, because he was like one of the most worn hards, and I'm not too sure whether Danjo is on a pad or a wheel, but that definitely does make a difference. Like, he's making a move on his teammate up in the 13th, so he's not wasting any time there. We'll see if Taupe or any of these guys comes to the pits. I feel like in an app to figure out whether they're going to go for a 1-stop or 2-stop. I think Taupe's going to go for a 1-stop personally. I'd be surprised if he pits anytime soon.
If you do a 2-stop, I would have boxed by now already. 4 laps remaining isn't really, even if you go on softs. I mean, this is the last lap for an opportunity for a safety car. If you're going for the 2-stop on softs, I reckon now is probably your last lap, unless safety car comes out. As I say that, I believe Cavalis is coming to the pits to hopefully box for softs.
Yeah, and also if someone like Taupe, I think one of the people would pit now to respond. Danjo, I think with 6 hours left, you can this up. I think it'd be quite late for a pit stop, so I reckon you guys are just trying to risk it and see what happens. Danjo will be just trying to be safe whenever he can. He's going to go past my up in the 11th. He's back up into the points now, so that was a nice lag. Thank you, game. As Todd was past Hobbsy, I reckon Danjo will be targeting a P5, I'd reckon. Maybe even a P4 or 4-star, but that would require a good bit of luck to go his way.
Yeah, personally, if I was Danger, I wouldn't have boxed. I would have followed the likes of Taupe and Fate Scouser, because if they stay out, tyre is going to be not great for them. I don't know if you saw the slight loss of rear from Taupe and then 4-star, free fall. I'm not sure if it was a lag spike or if he did lose the rear very slightly coming out of turn 8 or turn 7. It's showing the tyre wear. I'm not sure if they should be able to get to the end realistically. Taupe staying out another lap, which kind of tells me the plan is to keep going.
Yeah, they're definitely committed to the one stop. So Dandra, maybe he just didn't feel confident in his tyres. Maybe he had more tyre. We'll never know. I suppose. But kind of, I mean, battle for fifth. Well, I say fifth, but Hobbs has no penalty, so it really is a battle for sixth in Hobbsy and Cole Paradox. It's quite close, but Hobbsy just about has DRS from the car ahead, which is Cole Paradox's teammate. So I reckon Hobbs will be hoping to try and help his teammate out here and try and hold Hobbsy up a bit. Pretty far starting the game back on Vic Scouser a bit, though the gap is down now to 1.6 seconds, so he's kind of cemented himself in that P2 slot at the moment as Wuban picks up a 3-second time penalty. Down in 14th. Danjo will watch him on like a panda trying to open the tent. He's going to stay behind the fryer for now. I reckon he's going to go for a move, maybe into this middle sector. We'll see. He's much faster, obviously, on fresh tires. He's going to go down the inside into turn 8 on the Ferrari. Leave some space. Good defending from Panda. Good racecraft. And he gets ahead of the Ferrari, but Danjo now open to 10th. Good racing from those two.
Well, yeah, as I was saying before, Panda not racing 10 months. I've mentioned this quite a lot, I'll be honest. But I think if I was him, I'd be happy with anywhere, especially considering the qualifying ban. Anywhere top 12, if I was him, I'd even take a single point, because it's quite an achievement to come back after so long. I don't think he raced on 24. Maybe he did, because I know F1 25 released quite early compared to recent games.
Yeah.
It's getting earlier and earlier. So it could have been the end of F1 23 that he raced last. He's doing quite well to hold up in P11. I know he's got Craigo behind him who boxed 5 laps ago from the mediums, Cavalis and Klerper behind. He's doing quite well.
He is indeed. Dandro open out into 8th and just ahead of Sophie in there. Cole Paradox did make a mistake, so he's lost out on DRS and obviously. And Dandro definitely now, with the fact that the cars are on DRS, I reckon he's definitely going to get an HP60 if he makes no mistakes. And maybe if he passes Hobbsy and Cole Paradox quick enough, he could end up in P5 as the Ferrari of Panda on the back of the Mercedes. And the Mercedes goes deep, and Panda up in the 9th now. Let's go from him, and here comes the Sauber as well. Sophie and that both of them by, I think. I'm not too sure if he did, he just lost the rear there. Couldn't really tell. But now Diddy back up in the 10th. Dandra on the back of the Red Bull of Cole Paradox. This is really the main thing now. It seems like the top 3 have set themselves out, and the top 5 seem to be pretty clear of everyone else. So the battles are really going to come from here. Dandra up into 7th now. He's making real good progress. We're hoping to get past Hobbsy by the end of the main straight, I'd say. And then I wonder, I don't know, obviously we don't know about tyre, I wonder if the front guys are at risk of a puncture. I think the puncture threshold this game is now, I think is it 80 or 85? Is that even up from last game from what I've heard?
They've upped it to 85, because I think last game was 70% for the tyres, and then because the tyre was so bad, I think they upped it to 85 I saw online. Which, even getting to 85, the tyre wear still being around 70, 80, it's quite difficult to drive.
It's bad. I even find, once you're past 50 onwards, it's very hard to drive.
Yeah, there's a few things in the last game that I'm curious if they still exist, like the whole, anything between laps 17 and 19, the engineer telling you the tyre pressures have dropped. I don't know if that still exists, although we can quite clearly see the yellow flag is still out for some reason.
Yeah,
as we see
that's been out
Sophie
since the
made a mistake.
Sophie and Dale, I think, make a mistake, and Craig on that opening points. Sophie and Hernier on that last point position. which he should keep hold of that. We'll see. Actually, let me check penalties. I'll check penalties. Can I check them? Which ones it check them? It is. He's on 3 seconds. Sofian, no, sorry, Adam on 9 seconds. Yeah, he should hold on to that last points paying position. Taup. I think Taup's trying to save tires because face house just got up to him. And free fall is kind of catching up, but those guys are getting a bit closer. But they seem to be still pretty spaced out. Danjo though has really caught Taubes here. Danjo at his pace, if he gets past Taub quick enough, he could honestly get 4-star for P4, which would be an amazing recovery drive from him, having pitted. He's he should get the ERS because of his exit. Will he get the ERS? He hasn't adjusted out, I think.
I think he has got it. No, he's not. He just got it.
He just hasn't.
He's got very low ERS to be fair, but he's managed to squeeze out the last little bit that he's got just to get into DRS.
Ahead of Diddy open the 10th or did just have a penalty. But yeah, Danjo will be hoping to get the Red Bull, hopefully his stake by the end of the next race. Cole Paradise past Hobbsy, open the 7th. That's a battle for position. Cole Paradise weaving on the straight there. Maybe he's unhappy with something Hobbsy did, I'm not too sure. But he's weaving when he got ahead from there. So obviously something happened between those two. I'm not too sure what that is. But Danjo going to open the 5th. With only a lap and a half left. It could be too late to get P4. The gap has dropped between him and Facehouse. Facehouse has a penalty, so it won't matter too much as long as Taup avoids any punctures or anything like that. Battle for 11th between Diddy and Sophie is probably the main thing. Actually, no, Craigo and Panda, 2 Ferraris, they're close together as well as Hobbsy and Cole Paradox at the moment. These 2 Ferraris, I wonder if Panda will. Panda has to fight it, even though he's on much. Actually, no, he's on much older tires. Maybe he just wants to get to the end, as you said. P10 for him on his return would be good. But Craigo using the ERS on his team, he goes to the inside, and Panda does not fight that one. That's a good teamwork from him. Oh no, Panda, no! Oh, we just spoke so highly of him. I mean, that is commentator's curse. It never fails to exist. It really doesn't. That's what happened up to the points. Panda done so well on his return here, but unfortunately he has spun round, and that's it for him. As we're on to the final lap of the race, Taup leads by 1.8 seconds. The fake Scouser in 2nd and FIFA in 3rd. FX has with a penny though, so that should mean FIFA will get P2. That's just heartbreaking for Panda. It's really unfortunate. He's been running such a good race up there. Sofian up past Diddy for P10. Days for position is both on 3 seconds, I believe. They are both. No, I mean, yeah, they are both 3 seconds. So Sofian open the 10th. Atom, but he should keep the 12th. They'll be tight actually in the wheelband because Atom needs to have a 6-second gap to get that position because of penalties. But we're going to go up to the front. I think that's the rough end of the battle. And Taup has been superb. Didn't start on pole, but got first pretty early on from the first lap, and he's pretty much. I think he's led since then. I'm not too sure to get on track, but definitely has been the net leader since then. Taup cementing his stamp on the season early on. He's going to round the penultimate corner. It's been a great race, a very entertaining race. Definitely, and hopefully more races to come. With Taup in the V car, he's going to round the final corner now. Been a great drive, flawless start to finish. Hasn't really been tested too hard, but he's done what he's had to do. Taup around the final corner, he's going to cross the line to win round 1 of season 13 here in Cone. He gets P1. Face House will get P2 on track. It'll be free fall, gets P2. Face House in 3rd. Then it'll be 4-star. A good covering drive from him to get P5. Danjo will pitted very late on, very well to get P5. Taubes will cross line in P6, and it will be Cole Paradox on him in 7th. Then Hobbsy in 8th. But Craigo might jump over these. So Craigo gets 7th. Oh, yeah, so he jumps both of the Red Bull and the McLaren. Cole Paradox in 8th. The Hobbsy in 9th. Sophie in 10th. Diddy in 11th. Atom, I think, just about got points by a 10th. Just over a 10th there. Gets that position. And further back, you've Cavalis and Cabrera battle up the line. But that's going to be Rafa at 14. Cavalis 15. Kirby SC. And Panda goes wide up on the corner. Panda has a puncture. Panda has a puncture. 7 that pole mediums. So it wouldn't have mattered too much to the end, but Panda, he drove a great race and he spun round. I'm not too sure if he meant that. I'm not sure if he meant that or not, if he's just genuine. I mean, it is supposed to be
And for
fair.
our
So
sake, please cross the line.
he's crossed it. Don't worry, you'll get there eventually. But
Uh, what a race that is. I'm surprised by a few drivers, I'll be honest. Kalen from first to last. Usually you want to go the other way.
you
You
do
want to go last to
usually.
first. Well, first to last in the first race on PC, he's done for Cone. Tope winning the race, free fall in second because of the 3 second time penalty from Fake Scouts, who I believe is only a reserve. Four
Do
star in
believe you're
P4
right.
up one position. Danjo dropping off of the well, would have been the podium in qualifying, down to P5. Um, yeah, I kind of feel bad for him. You know, I'm not too sure why he boxed. I don't know if it was like on the verge of puncture or what. But Craigo managed to bring it back up to P7. I think he only lost 2 positions when he boxed. But he had I'm impressed by his pace. Cole Paradox up 7 positions, which does also kind of surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, you're right there. And you're right, but face cancer, he is a reserve, but a good shot on him. Potentially, obviously, if C3's up during the season, he would take that spot. A few things. Panda said he was on 92%, that's why he punctured. Hobbs ended up on 88%. So definitely tight stuff to watch. I don't know if you're able to get the top 3 in for a podium interviews. That would be hugely
They're on
appreciated.
PlayStation, so we should if you want to.
They are. Well, I will give them an invite. I will add them in Discord if they want to do podium interviews. I will. That's up
Send
to
an
them.
invite to them now.
There we go. I'll put it in the Discord now. So hopefully get one or two of them then, because definitely do want to get a view on the race. Because all 3 of them definitely had races and stuff to talk about.
I'll invite them when if they want to join. Don't want to send unnecessary invites.
I've added them now, so if you want to just send me an invite, if they hop in, they hop in.
I believe I sent an invite to this party.
Okay, so Sky will join. And Cole Paradox's weave was actually not a bad weave. It was a weave to say thanks for teamwork. I'm not too sure what happened there. So I'm gonna. So, and my apologies, Cole Paradox, for misjudging there. And Face Chaser is going to tell he's melting, which is fair enough. Expectable. Face Chaser will not be joining us. Um, hopefully we can get Scotty in as well as Tope. That would be good. Have you sent them invites?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
Okay, then we'll just give them a chance to join.
Give them a long race. It's very, very humid, especially in the UK. Humid and hot.
Yes, you
So a few
have.
drivers might just be taking a bit of a break because, as Fake Scouser has just said, perfect
It
time
is.
before
It
I've.
is melting.
It is very, very warm. I don't
It
know
is
about you, Lee,
indeed.
but
It's quite warm over here too. But I know for someone like Tope, who I believe is. Well, I don't want to think. I believe he's German. I know in Europe we're getting bad heat, but they're getting even worse heat. So I can't imagine what that was like.
yeah,
But
well, Germany is in Europe, Lee.
yes, I just wouldn't. I more meant that I wasn't sure exactly where he was from. I knew he was European then, but I wasn't too sure where.
Yes, I think it was 30 degrees at some point today, which, to be fair, the thought of comms, or even worse, driving, was not the best of my. That's not what I wanted to be doing. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good thing to do, and I do enjoy it. But in this heat, it gets a bit extreme.
It does indeed. We do have free fall in here. We're giving them a minute to see if Tope joins, because I know Face Chaos will not be joining. He's gone outside because he's quote unquote melting. Um, that was a very good race, and that's hopefully an omen to what the season will be like. Definitely lots of battles. A very close field, I found. The field to take a lot of spread, and those battles, obviously, the top guys were very close together, and the midfield very close together. So hopefully that's an omen for the future. But I think I'm not sure if Tope is joining. He hasn't responded to my message.
Tope's
Tope said
ill,
he's
so
ill.
he's
Okay, that's ill. So we get started. Mr. Freefall. Um, you came P2 today. A very good race from yourself. Just give us a run through of your race.
Yeah, quality. I mean, not quite the time I knew I could do, but yeah, still P4. Got a great launch off compared to Tope and Danjo. I don't know, they just got bogged down in the second stage. I think we were almost 4 wide into turn 1, but I made it stick somehow. And then shout out to Kaelin for dropping it at turn 4. Obviously, that gave me the lead. It kind of, fell behind the DRS, and it was just sort of that game I just fall in, right, see what happened. I was debating that my original plan was, medium, hard, play around the safety cars and that. I was debating to stretch these mediums, and if I'd done that, first safety car would have been perfect timing. Came out with the mediums anyway. I came out in the hard. Sorry, they were horrendous to warm up. So you getting heat in the fronts. It took about 4 laps to really get them bedded in. I don't know if that was a setup issue on my part or if everybody else had that, but yeah, bad out lap. You think you maybe seen, and then obviously the safety car. Shout out to Craigo. He had good pace. I don't know why he stayed out in the softs. That little gap maybe just spoilt the end of the race for me in that degree, because I don't know, you might have a different opinion, so you'll think, I feel the last 6 laps I probably had the better pace of the top 3. I just needed that DRS to just help it, because I was catching Scouser and then just drop it and that. And and then the only other thing about the say is, Danjo, why did you pit me? Not a clue.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the Danjo box. I wasn't sure if it was a tyre wear thing, because it was quite early on compared to the end of the race. I was going to ask you, what's the new tyre wear like? The difference in strategies, because we saw quite a few strategies. We saw a few, I believe, 1-stops. There's a few drivers that did a 2-stop, and I believe there might have been a 3-stop from Panda. Oh no, that's Punch. Sorry. Yeah, some drivers look like they were struggling with tyre wear a bit. Can you just explain the strategies?
Yeah, definitely. Like, tyre wear is obviously a lot more press in this game. I don't know. I was taking maybe different lines through the middle sector than some. I was using a lot more of the curbs, so that's obviously affecting some of the tyre wear. But you've obviously got your exits of turn 1 and 2 and turn 4 and turn 10, high sort of areas where you're going to spin up. So it was. I think I was kicking on about 60-70%. I know a lot of the guys were in that sort of area as well. Obviously, in an ideal world, you're losing maybe a couple of seconds a lap there, but it was at that stage, right? It was sort of that thing when the safety car came. It was if you'd started on the hards, it would have been an ideal time to maybe go, I don't know, like put on a set of softs or put on a set of mediums, sorry, and then go back on and put another set of hards if you had them. The hards just about do half the race. It's whether those mediums can do the other half. They were starting to feel bad after about 7 laps. So the safety car really just giving them 3 laps, kind of just slightly before. Obviously, I think it was 18 laps on the hards. I was only really wanting to push them to 15, but for the time lost on those last 3 laps, say it's not worth the pit stop, even though I had fresh softs. We've seen that with Danjo. I think he was still 8.7 off me at the back, and it's not just the time. If everybody pit, yeah, it's probably worth it. But I mean, I think you get held up with so much traffic.
Yeah.
Clean run, they might have been closer, but it really is. I know we always say safety cars are a big thing with it, but they're really dependent in this game. If you can nail it, and then that selection of do you take 2 mediums or 2 hards really comes into play with the safety cars.
Yeah, I was just saying this during quality. I think the tyre selection you choose before quality makes a much bigger difference now than it ever really has. But I was going to ask you, if you mentioned about Craigo, we still behind Craigo. Do you said it, like, do you feel like you could have maybe challenged for the win had you not been there, or had you gone past him sooner? Because obviously you definitely, from what we could tell, you definitely were catching the top 2 towards the end of the race. Do you feel like if you had got past him sooner, you could have fought for the win?
Yeah, I would have said so. I would have been up there. I mean, Tope would have been there and thereabouts. You maybe noticed the last few laps, like I sort of struggled a little bit. I took a lot of the tyre wear out, just trying to get that gap. I was having to burn ERS every second, because particularly when there was the 3 of them, they were all just DRSing each other up, and it was, yourselves, 3 DRS around this circuit. It's a big gain. But I was still, the fact that they had DRS in each other and I was still holding that gap, and then even when the DRS was gone for like Scouser, I was still holding and taking chunks out of that gap despite spinning my tyres up and pushing like everything I had on old tyres. Aye, a different race. I'd say there was a late safety car, we all jumped in for a set of softs. I think it could have been quite a good one to the end. Obviously you're going to bring 4-star and Tobes in there, but Yeah, if I'd managed to not have that interruption with Craigo, if he'd pit maybe 2 laps earlier, if I'd just kept in front of him, one of them things, right on them, could have probably challenged for it. But hey, oh, it is what it is. I'll take P2.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask 2 questions at once because I don't want to keep you for too long. Your do you? What are your hopes for the season? Do you reckon you could be fighting towards for a championship? And also next week we do go to, I believe it's Sandvort. So what are your hopes for that track in particular?
It's Jamming Championship. Yeah, everybody comes in. What is it I said a couple of seasons ago? Welcome to the Paddock Boys. You're just the guests in my world. That's what we're going for this season.
That is being bookmarked and saved. I hope you're aware of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Keep a
That's
note of
fine.
that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've not got the pace to compete with the top guys, and a lot of the quicker guys that came back, hence why like you'll see in Frosty Tier 1 is stacked.
Oh
But
yeah, it is. It is. Trust me.
it's
I'm not excited.
it's mental, it's mental the pace. But from that sort of next bit down, like looking at the grid, I think it'll be a good one. There'll be me, Tope, 4-star, Kalen if he can keep it straight line, Tobes if he can get a little bit more pace, Hobbs if he can sort out his tyre wear. Like there's so many up there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the usual like 2 or 3 where it's just who comes first, second, the third. It's going to be like right, they've had a bad race and they finished 7th sort of thing,
Yeah.
and that guy's finished 4th and he won that one. So Sandvort. I mean it's kind of opposite. We've only got one. No, have we got 2 DRSs?
2. But like, the second one isn't really. It's kind of you know what I mean?
It's more just a
Just
catch up
exists.
to maybe get you a run at the next one.
Yeah.
I think with this game as well, you've got to really push your curbs. Like, where can you use them without overdoing the
do.
tyres and gain that time? So there is a few bit in the middle sector, and then obviously your traction zones. Who's going to be brave coming out with maybe that bank corner in the first sector? Who's going to be brave onto that little DRS straight?
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not going to pin my hopes too high, but I think I'd like to be up in the mix again.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you saying we're going to see multiple people. I mean, you saw Kane, and obviously he did get Paul, and obviously he did end up spinning out, which we kind of foreshadowed in qualifying. But anyway, um, so definitely will be interesting. But any further questions, you Harry?
No, I'm out.
Okay,
You already
so so that's all from me and Harry. I'm not too sure if we're going to be the mainstays for the season. I hope so. I really did enjoy that. And once again, I thank you, Harry, for joining me. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome.
That's all from us. We will see you. Well, I mean, the tier 1 guys. I'm not too sure if he's doing comments for tier 1. I presume it's going to be Jamie and whoever's alongside him. I'm
I
not too sure.
think it's
Go on.
Jamie and another. There's a little head admin insight. Jamie and it could be Rob, but I don't know if that's confirmed yet. We'll find out first, the boys.
I'm disappointed it's not you, Scott. I'm disappointed.
I'm staying in the back seat, mate. I'm focusing on the driving.
Yeah. That's all from us. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next week.